Hi there, I hope you are doing great. Today we're gonna review the best electric grinders under $350 US. We are giving away 2 lucky winners, 2 electric grinders. So stay tuned for that. I want to thank the visitor roaster of today's video, Air Roastery. They've sent us a wide range of their coffee beans, ranging from light roast, medium roast, and well-developed dark roast, to test along all of these grinders. Now before I start, I just want to say that with each grinder there will be a kind of criteria in reviewing it. Taste-wise is a very important aspect in reviewing grinders. However, it might be slightly subjective to each person. Even if you have quite the experience with different roasting profiles and different tastings, still I would rather to speak about the user-friendly experience, the practicality of use on a daily basis, the ease of use into shifting between espresso grind range and filter grind range for those who like to brew both brewing methods. Without further ado, let's start with the first grinder, the Urbanic 070S. Two years ago, I would have definitely recommended this grinder considering the competition in the market at that stage. It has a reasonable price tag, 60mm flat burrs. This one comes with the titanium coated burrs. It comes with large stepped adjustments. There's a simple trick by removing the sticker from here and unscrewing the bottom. We made a video about it. It is straightforward, simple. You take the clicks out and it turns into a stepless grinder. There's one disadvantage to that method is that the grind adjustment might shift a bit while grinding. There's a simple fix to it by putting Teflon tape on the thread, which will kind of make it stiffer and avoid that grind setting shifting while grinding, if that makes sense. Now my main issue with this grinder is that it comes as a stock with a large hopper, so this one you have to pay extra for it, which will makes the price tag even higher. Additionally, it's good in filter, good in espresso, but it's not very good, if you get what I mean. For instance, in espresso, it is a bit difficult to dial in your perfectly timed espresso shots. Even after you convert it from stepped adjustments to stepless adjustment, you're still not able to get those micro adjustments. I want 30-second extraction, 31, 32. It is tough to achieve that with this grinder. Filter coffee, it is good. There are still flat burrs, but you don't get that much clarity or crispness in the filter coffee. The grinder is relatively on the quiet side when it's not grinding. It has a high RPM and yeah, if you splash the bean with RDT and you use the single dose hopper, it has around 0.2 grams retention, which is good. You need to consider the price tag, but still, considering what's coming next, it is tough to recommend this grinder nowadays. Yeah, that's it, the Urbanic 070S. Moving on to the next grinder, the fellow OPUS grinder. I'm a huge fan of Fellow products, their approach to coffee equipment. They have their unique style and the design is very special. With the Fellow OPUS, they were kind of trying to offer more budget-friendly price tag grinder, and they cut a lot of aspects. The build quality feels a lot of plasticky. I'm not a huge fan of the design. It feels like it's taking much larger foot space than it should take. I like the dosing cup, it's magnetic. Basically, you put it and go back in place. I like the on-off switch, it's in the front. It has a relatively good noise motor. I would say it shifts towards the quiet side. My main issue with this grinder before diving into the taste-wise is the grind adjustment mechanism. It has 2 ways of adjusting the grind settings. The main issue when it comes to espresso, for instance, based on the machines that we've been testing it with, the Lelit Bianca and the Decent Espresso, both of them, when you go straight 9-bar pressure, always my range was always the finest setting. I rarely pushed past 1. I'm always on 1 on the first grind adjustment mechanism. Now I don't know, it might be this unit, but it's really annoying. It's not as easy as it seems, and yeah, it's not smooth. You have to put your fingers twisted. It is tough. It's not as smooth as you wish it to be, and even with those secondary grind adjustment mechanism, the grind range is huge. It's not giving you 2 or 4 seconds difference. Sometimes it's jumping 10 seconds or 15 seconds of extraction difference. I even tried very light espresso roast, very light, and I went to the finest possible setting, number 1 on the main adjustments and -5 on the secondary adjustment, and it was still too fast to my preference. The extraction took 40 seconds. Yeah, taste wise, in filter coffee it was good, decent. You feel a bit of harshness, a bit of sourness, but relatively it's good filter coffee. In espresso, it's not my favorite. All in all, I really tried to like this grinder, but it just did not meet my expectations. I am truly looking forward to the upgraded version of this, if they decide to come in the future. But for now, I'm not a huge fan of it. The Barazza Encore Espresso. Now this is fairly new espresso grinder, here at least in the UK. I'm not sure if they already started selling it in the US, but this was a demo unit by coffeehit.uk. I will leave a link for them in the description below. It is able to go as fine as Turkish coffee and even finer than that. It comes with multiple extra shims. Basically they will push the conical burr slightly higher, giving you even a finer range of adjustments if that's your preference. Now I don't know if it comes as stock as that, but the way it came it was not going fine enough, and I had to add one of the shims, which was more than enough in reaching the grind range. My espresso setting on this unit is between 7 and 8 clicks. It is very capable of giving you reasonable extraction time. It's easy to shift between espresso and filter coffee. It is that fast. It comes with a dosing cup that can sit inside the portafilter. The ground catcher cup for filter coffee if you are grinding large doses. It has two ways of turning it on. Either you're pushing the button from the front, as long as you're pushing it will stay on, or you turn the switch from the side and it will keep the machine on. Yeah, but it's really loud. It is loud. Even when grinding it's louder and noisier. What I don't like about it is that with high RPM and the burst geometry, they get really hot really fast. For instance, if you are grinding your coffee beans and you put it at setting number 7, it was too fine. You went setting number 8, it was still too fine. By the time you're reaching setting number 9, which is your third espresso shot, the burrs will be really hot and you won't get the same results if it's cooled down. So that's to keep in mind. Taste wise, it makes good espresso. It's a bit chocolatey, the body is high. At this price range, and you're not expecting flavor separation or clarity with reasonable body. It's decent. You'll enjoy it. With milky drinks it will be perfect. Again, filter coffee, it will make good filter coffee. Reasonable for its price tag. ITOP 40S. I personally got this grinder from AliExpress. I was very eager to testing it and sharing my feedback with you. It has a full metal body. It feels very durable. It feels very well built. It has a helical grind adjustment mechanism. It will give you almost a difference of half a second in extraction time. It is extremely accurate. It's using newer and upgraded burrs. They are titanium coated, which is great for longevity in sharpness and in avoiding the high temperature in the burr. It comes as stock with this single dose hopper, which is really effective in giving you almost zero retention. After finishing the grinding, just 2 puffs, everything will be out. I like the build quality with it. The dosing cup has a strong magnetic base, and surprisingly the quality of the dosing cup itself is perfect. It is really well made. It's heavy, quite heavy. Put it back in place. Now I had mixed opinions about this grinder. When it first arrived, the first kilogram of coffee beans, it was disastrous. Espresso was spurting everywhere. It was very tough getting in dialed in perfectly. However, there's something called seasoning the burrs. If you are not familiar with that, basically you have to go into at least 1 or 2 kilograms of coffee beans, grinding using the burrs to polish the final edges of the cutting surface. This will ensure better consistency in general. Now it is not the same case of all these grinders, but I would say in this one it was a major issue. It was very bad. After I finished the first kilogram of coffee beans, I was really surprised with the quality. Espresso shots from it were really delicious, with a reasonable body. It was easy to dial in. What I don't like about it, it is a bit noisy. The sound of the gears moving in the motor, it's a bit harsh, but in this price range, I'm not surprised and I wouldn't mind it that much. The on-off switch is on the side, it's not very far. It has a small light in it. It has a tilted design in assisting the ground retention. The grind retention is very good. It's almost zero, as we said. There's one issue of going between espresso and filter coffee. It might take around like let's say maybe 20 seconds until you go to filter coffee setting. However, speaking about filter coffee, it makes very good filter coffee. I would say taste wise, it makes better espresso and better filter coffee than all of these. All in all, I'm very pleased with the results from it. Moving on to the next grinder, the Varia VS3 Gen 2 grinder. It has a stepless grind adjustments that are enough to perfectly dial your espresso shots. You'll get a difference in extraction almost 1 second. It is super easy to go between espresso and filter. Right now in espresso, filter, espresso, filter. It is that way, straightforward, super easy. It comes with so many accessories that grinders almost triple or 4 times the price they won't offer you that much of accessories. It comes with spare parts, with RDT bottle, cleaning brush, silicone in the hopper. I personally did not like the silicone. There is no use for it because if you use RDT, the retention is almost minimum, 0.1 gram. It has so many magnetic parts. The lid is magnetic. The dosing cup is magnetic. Sits in place perfectly. The on-off switch is on the side. All in all, in build quality, it is really nice grinder. I loved everything about it. It has a relatively good sized power brick. I know many friends complain about it, but honestly the fact that this power brick can be used with 110 volts to 240 volts, wherever you go you can take it with you, use it without the need of converter. This is a huge advantage in it. And yeah, it checks so many boxes. Taste wise, as a stock in espresso, those burrs geometry, they give you very good body, reasonable clarity. In filter coffee, I'm not a huge fan of these burrs. They do offer a wide range of conical burrs to upgrade with, and I have all of them here with me. First 3, they have the exact same geometry as the stock burr. The 4th burr has a different geometry. First 2 are called supernova burrs. They are basically titanium coated, black and gold. If I'm gonna recommend, I will definitely recommend the Hypernova. It has a purple finish. It will give you the best body with better clarity, almost the perfect balance between body and clarity if you're planning to use it only for espresso. My personal favorite is the Hypernova Ultra. What I like about this burrs is that it gives you higher clarity compared to the stock ones. Even when it comes to filter coffee, I was very surprised with its result. It gives by far the best filter coffee in all of these grinders. Backwards. Very delicious espresso shots, and you'll be very pleased with it. Last but not least, the Fellow Ode Gen 2 grinder. The Fellow Ode uses 64mm flat burrs. The Gen 2 flat burrs were recently upgraded, and I must say, I'm a huge fan of these burrs. They produce delicious filter coffee. They are not able to grind espresso. I did try, and I reached the point where burrs were touching, and I got extraction time between 17 to 20 seconds, which is barely drinkable. However, this is a good reference in telling you that it can go very fine. I would say almost fine for mocha pot, but it's not enough for espresso. Speaking about that, you do have the ability of upgrading the burrs, 64mm SSP burrs. However, that will add additional $200 extra. As a stock from the company, this grinder will give you the most delicious filter coffee in its price tag, period, between all of these grinders. The only grinder that will give you kind of similar results in filter coffee is the VS3 with Hypernova Ultra burrs. But still, the Ode with its flat burrs and the Gen 2 upgraded ones, it has that small edge over the VS3 with the Hypernova Ultra burrs. I love the magnetic ground catcher cup. The static electricity in ground coffee is almost minimum. There is no need for RDT. It has zero retention. Everything you put inside, you will get it out. It has a large hopper that's enough to fit around 60, I would say 70 gram. It has a relatively quiet motor. And it's very fast in grinding the coffee beans. To summarize everything up, if you are extremely on a tight budget and you cannot even reach the $200, I would recommend to check our reviews for hand grinders. You'll get far superior quality from hand grinders under $200 if you decide to go with that budget. If your budget is $200 and above that, the best two options in that price range, the Baratza Encore and the ITOP 40S. The ITOP 40S has definitely the better edge in taste-wise, practicality, ground retention, and user experience overall over the Baratza. Two main issues is that it is slightly more expensive and the customer service. If you are getting it from AliExpress, you are on your own. If you have a local supplier, I would highly recommend it as an option. If you want the best bang for buck, a grinder that will last you for a very long time with a wonderful customer service, you really cannot beat the Varia VS3 grinder. We have tested so many grinders, electric grinders, and at this price range, with what you are getting, it is the definite bang for buck. I did aim to vigorously test the Varia VS3 grinders based on the feedback that we got from few friends. They were really interested in seeing how far can it be pushed, and I would say it will definitely suffice your need. No matter the roast, I went with light roast, Turkish coffee settings, 50 gram, 100 gram, although it's not intended to be used that way, it's for home use. It is really a very tough option to beat. Now, if your main focus into filter coffee and you want a grinder that will satisfy your needs, the Fellow Ode, I would say it's the best option for filter coffee in this price range. And you do have the option of upgrading it to the SSP burrs. I did test it with all SSP 64mm burrs in espresso, and it was even able to grind for Turkish coffee. However, its motor has a protection sensor, and when you push it too far, it will stop from grinding. That rarely happened to me when I was in the Turkish grind coffee setting and grinding more than 20-30 grams. I was pushing it too far, but overall it will meet your expectations. That's it for today's video. I hope I was able to give you a good reference in these electric grinders. Please, if you own any one of them, let us know your thoughts. We love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. I want to thank Air Roastery for sending us their coffee beans to test with all these electric grinders. We did test them with all their roasting profiles, light, medium and dark roast. I want to thank Varia Brewing team for offering two lucky friends the chance to win 2 electric grinders. All you have to do is to check the description below, show them some love, make sure to follow them, and that's it. 2 lucky winners, 2 VS3 grinders Gen 2. Good luck everyone, and I hope to see you next time, very soon, in the next video. Take care. Bye. Will kind of help in the which will help you in the longevity. Which will help in the